Donald Trump has just been allowed. They make not Donald Trump, but they pretty much ruled the Supreme Court just ruled that a president is immune from prosecution if they are acting in an official capacity. Now, let's go ahead and read. Let's look at it together. In a historic decision, a divided Supreme Court on Monday ruled that former presidents can never be prosecuted for actions related to the core powers of their office, and that there is at least a presumption that they have immunity for their official acts more broadly. The decision left open the possibility that the charges against former Donald Trump by special counsel Jack Smith, alleging that Trump conspired to overturn the results of a 2020 election, can still go forward to the extent that the charges are based on his private conduct rather than his official acts. Now, did anybody else read this and try to figure out what specifically they mean by official acts? Because they're saying they really can only go after him for things that are not considered official act. For not considered official acts. But what about telling people that the election was not legit is an official act? Maybe are they saying because he was doing something to further his presidency that's an official act? I really don't. They should give a list of items that are considered official acts, and then everything else is excluded from that ruling, right? From that immunity. Let me keep reading. The case now returns to the lower courts for them to determine whether the conduct at the center of the charges against Trump was official or unofficial. An inquiry that, even if it leads to the conclusion that the charges can proceed, will almost certainly further delay any trial in the case, which had originally been scheduled to begin on March 4th, 2024, but is currently on hold. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts emphasized that the president is not above the law, but Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in a dissent joined by Justices Elena and Ketanji Brown Jackson, countered that if a true president misuses official power for personal gain, the criminal law that the rest of us must abide by will not provide a backstop. So they're saying pretty much it don't matter what he's doing, lock him up if he does something wrong. The decision was the latest chapter in a case that began last year when Trump was indicted on 4 counts arising from the Smith investigation. Okay, so the whole January 6th thing, right? Now, they're saying that pretty much the lower courts are going to decide whether or not the acts are official or not. And I guess every time they want to prosecute a former president, they're going to decide case-by-case basis at the lower courts, was the act considered an official act or not? I don't get why they would leave it up to lower courts. Why don't they just give a list of what acts are considered official or not? Actually, that should really be in some type of rule book somewhere. Which acts are considered official presidential acts, right? Things and guidelines and even broad details or broad generalized ideas of what official acts would be. Because the way it is right now, like you could just, you run into a judge that likes you and they could say you were acting in official capacity when you told people to show up and protest for January 6th and all that type of stuff. They could consider that an official capacity. So I don't understand why they're even leaving it up to any court, honestly. Like the lawmakers should get on this and make a decision on this one. Let's see. Let me see. What is they saying? What do they say here? Trump asked Chutkin to throw out the charges against him, arguing that he is immune from prosecution because he was the president. Chutkin turned that request down in early December, explaining that the presidency does not confer a lifelong get-out-of-jail-free pass. Smith went to the Supreme Court later that month, asking the justices to weigh in on Trump's immunity without waiting for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit to rule on Trump's appeal. But the justices declined to do so, and it was 6 weeks before the Court of Appeals issued an opinion rejecting Trump's claim of immunity. Now, what I want to know is, where did Trump even get the idea from that because he was the president, he's immune from prosecution? Because if there's no statutes on that, where did he even get it from? Clearly, there's no case law because the Supreme Court is having a rule and letting everybody know that there is some level of immunity. But where did they get it from first? Secondly, where did he get it from? Is what I want to know. And I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying, where can we go to read about this to find out where it came from?